Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. We haven't talked about photo books here in a while, so I thought now would be a good time to share 3 new books that I've recently picked up that I think you might enjoy as well. The first book we're going to talk about is Pictures Volume 2 by Jeff Bridges. Yes, that Jeff Bridges, the actor. If you weren't already aware, he does a lot of black and white work with a Widelux, which is a panoramic camera. He has actually released, obviously, Volume 1 of Pictures. I don't own that one. I only own Volume 2, hoping to pick up Volume 1 at some point. But this one just recently came out over the last few months, I believe, and I have been absolutely loving it. First of all, I love his introduction to the book. It's the most Jeff Bridges introduction you could possibly think of, just in the way he writes and everything. And there's actually a lot of handwritten notes on some of the pages as well, which is really cool to see. It adds that personal touch, but it really is a cool behind the scenes look at the whole world of filmmaking, where it kind of blurs, reality and illusion a little bit. There's so much room within a panoramic frame, and it's sort of like looking at one of those Where's Waldo images in a lot of ways. I'm constantly looking through these really, really wide panoramic photos and finding all of these little subtle details that you don't really notice at first, but they all kind of add to the overall story, and it's just a really, really cool behind the scenes look. You can really see how passionate he is about this whole process, and it's just really cool to see how he photographs things, and you can kind of see the passion behind it, but also hearing his words along with it. It just is really, really cool. Using a Widelux in general, it kind of lends itself to these really weird effects, because as the photo is being taken, the lens will actually swing around, and whenever you do that, you obviously get some motion blur if anything is moving within the frame and you're using a slow enough shutter speed, and he kind of uses that as a creative tool in a way where you'll have certain things look really distorted, or he'll intentionally kind of swing things around and have somebody move and they'll appear in the same photo twice. He has a lot of fun with it, which makes perfect sense because he just seems like one of those guys who would have a lot of fun and not take everything so serious, which is really refreshing. He was also a guest recently on Analog Talk, my friends who have an awesome podcast all about film photography, so definitely check that out. It was a really great interview, and it's nice to listen to that while you're actually looking at these photos as well. If you're a Jeff Bridges fan, if you're a fan of filmmaking, if you're a fan of documentary photography, any of those things, this checks all of those boxes. This one is a must-buy. The next book is Cape Light by Joel Meyerowitz. Oddly enough, this is a book I've just recently picked up, despite it being one of the most famous and popular photo books of the 20th century. This is a collection of photos shot in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where all of these everyday scenes are photographed in a way that really make them feel larger than life. They almost feel like they're stills taken from a movie. As the name suggests in Cape Light, the light here plays a big role in just how these photos feel, and you can tell it definitely feels like a deliberate choice in terms of when the photo was made. If some of these photos were taken in a different kind of lighting condition or at a different time of day, it would drastically change how the photo feels, and he actually explores that a little bit pretty early in the book, where he photographs the same scene in a number of different conditions, and you can really see how much that affects the color and just the overall feel of the image. There isn't a whole lot to say about this one just because it's sort of been well known for so long. If you're a fan of great color work, this is essentially a masterclass on how to effectively use color and also how that light is drastically going to shape the color. It wouldn't be a proper photo book video of mine without mentioning my hero, which is, of course, Elliott Erwitt. This is Elliott Erwitt, Scotland, and a little over 6 years ago there was a video released where it showed Elliott Erwitt in Scotland making photos in collaboration with the Macallan, which is a whiskey manufacturer from Scotland. Ever since that came out, I have wanted a book of his with this work in it. I have watched that video dozens and dozens of times. I'm going to link it down below. You should definitely check it out because it's always inspiring, and it's, again, over 6 years old, but I still watch it pretty regularly. But this shows some of that work that was made while he was working on that campaign, plus other work as well. The book is full of everyday life in Scotland, from local pubs to the farmland to the docks to, of course, dogs. And there's, of course, his trademark sense of humor that is seen throughout all of his work, and it's never really at the expense of the subject. I think that's what I love so much about his sense of humor. Everything just sort of has this level of relativity to it. It's like you've seen something before, so you know the whole circumstances behind it, you understand why he really saw something in that and why he wanted to take a photo of it. I think that's what I love about it so much. It's all relatable, and it kind of connects all of us in a really lighthearted and fun way. This certainly isn't my first Elliott Erwitt book, and it's definitely not going to be my last either, but this is definitely one that I enjoy that I think a lot of you would as well. Before we wrap up, I'm going to go ahead and pay some bills and maybe order a couple more books and tell you about our sponsor today, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is the best all-in-one platform for you to build your online presence. You can show off your work, sell your prints, or any other merch throughout your online store, and keep tabs on everything with the analytics on the back end. As photographers, our portfolios are always growing and improving, so updating your portfolio should be a simple process, and with Squarespace, it's incredibly easy to update or rearrange your portfolio at any time. Having your own online store built into your site makes it really convenient to update your inventory, add or remove certain items, run sales, anything you might want to do when running your own store. You have so many templates to choose from when designing your website, and they all look great and are easy to customize, but if you ever do need any help at all, Squarespace has 24/7 award-winning customer service. If you'd like to try Squarespace out, you can do so entirely free at squarespace.com, but when you're ready to get signed up, go to squarespace.com/mattday and you'll get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and a closer look at some of my recent photo book pickups. If you have any books you would recommend, definitely leave those in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got new videos every Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but that's it for today. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.